Thrill Me.
This show is part of the Thrill Me Podcast Network. Experience more on Facebook and YouTube.
It's Review It Man, reviewing what he can. Movies are his jam, so let's get twisted, man. It's Review It Rob.
Hey yo, and welcome to a brand new episode of the Review It Rob show. I am, of course, your host, Review It Rob, coming at you a little later this week. Not on purpose. I recorded the show on time, and then the recording decided to say, F you, we are not going to release and save and all that stuff. So, good old fun technical issues, but here, nonetheless, I like to take you behind the scenes of what's going on, man. But it kind of ended up working out in a very spiritual way, if you will, a very universal way of having this happen, because the show would have been released already, but now the show will be releasing on a special day, man. I just, by happenstance, and worked out that it's going to be releasing on the 3-year anniversary of this show. So there you go. Universe decided to step in and, change the release date here for the show, because I do normally release it on Tuesdays, but now it is releasing a day later, but ends up working out because it is going to be releasing on the 3-year anniversary of this show. Holy crap, man. I've been podcasting for a while. Started off doing it with podcasting with my brother, Tombstone Josh, at the Disnoid show. Fun time doing that stuff. And then, I wanted to do a show of my own about movies and movie news and just nerd out and geek out about the stuff I love. And I started doing the show 3 years ago this day. First one was for Birds of Prey, the Fantabulous Emancipation of One Harley Quinn, I think is the full title of that. I don't know. But yeah, man. God, those early episodes. I don't listen to my shows. I'm very Tom Cruise and Johnny Depp like that. I don't watch I don't know, maybe does Tom Cruise watch his movies? Probably. I know Johnny Depp doesn't watch his movies. And I don't listen to my show after I record them. I release them and put them out there in the world. But yeah, those early episodes, man, those are rough, because I didn't have the confidence of a solo podcaster yet. I was so used to being a team podcast, and, going on the journey alone was definitely, interesting, to say the least. But I feel like as time's gone on, and, other people would say this about, are the ones who would say this about me. I can't say that I'm great or I'm awesome or anything like that. It's very egotistical, right? But I feel like I've gotten a lot more comfortable and a lot more confident doing this show as the years have gone by. And now here I am, year 3 of the show, and just feeling so good and so passionate about this project now, and just so in love with doing the show. It's still kind of the basic thing that it was when it started, movie news and a movie review. But, now as time's gone on, I've added mandatory DC comic talk and DC film talk and mandatory horror film talk, because those are two of the things I love the most, DC comics and films, and the horror realm is my favorite genre of movie. So made those mandatory for every episode, and just throwing some other bits of news in there. I'll talk video games, I'll talk WWE, talking all kinds of stuff, because again, I've gotten more comfortable with this show, and I know who I am as a podcaster and what I love, and what I want the show to be is, me outpouring my love of nerdness about the things I enjoy. And that's how the show started, and that's what it's always meant to be, and what it's always, gone to be for me. And now here we are, year 3 of this show. We're getting ready to celebrate a year of the Throw Me Podcast Network as well, which is awesome to think about. So, going from, the show now being a part of this network with, people I'm, so happy to be, beside and working with and on this journey within the Throw Me Podcast Network. We're all here helping each other out and helping each other grow, man. And the Throw Me Podcast Network, you can help us grow and support us as well by following us on YouTube, subscribing there, liking some stuff, sharing the stuff. We're on Facebook, we're on Instagram. We've got all kinds of fun stuff going on there. We've got TeePublic if you want to buy, merch of the shows, be it shirts, stickers, mugs, laptop cases, whatever you're interested in. We've got Patreon where other good stuff, it shows, and all that fun stuff's going on. It's just so cool to think about that, man. Going from when the show started 3 years ago to where it is now, and just being this fun thing that I love doing. And, it's been a weekly show. I've tried to do my best to make it release every single week. There's, of course, I talk about mental health on the show from time to time, and I myself am someone who, has had the battles there with mental health. So I've maybe have missed a week or two in between, but, I've always kept the show pretty consistent and want to keep it consistent and love to do that. So, technology jumped in, but it jumped in a good way by making it now release on the actual 3-year anniversary. So that's really cool, man. Just if you've been here since the beginning of the show, maybe, you can let me know how the show's gone and if it's gotten better or if I sound better or whatnot. You can let me know that or not. It's up to you. But I appreciate you, man. If you've been here through this whole journey since then to now, that's just amazing that you survived those early episodes because, whoo, your boy was not comfortable. But, if you're new to the show, I appreciate, man, the fact that the show reaches anybody, and anybody takes the time to listen to me ramble on and get twisted around in the nerdness or the geekdom, all that stuff that I'm interested in, that I like to call it. Just amazing to me that you take that time, man. So I appreciate you all. Thank you for supporting the show. Just keep on supporting. That's awesome, man, that you keep supporting the show. Share with your friends, help it grow, because again, this is a huge passion project for me that I love doing each and every week, and can't even imagine not having the show a part of my life now, 3 years in, and just can't wait to see where we're going future wise. Even the interestingness of all this, this being the 3-year anniversary of the show and all that, I have 3 things to talk about, and I did not do that on purpose, but I have 3 things to kind of review here, and didn't do that on purpose, just the way, again, the world decides to work. So it's really cool and interesting how that works out. We're just go ahead and jump into that. Kind of not to rush through the episode, but again, I recorded last night an hour of recording and just disappeared on me. So that sucks. I'm trying to make sure nothing technical happens again here. Hopefully not. But let's go ahead and jump into it. The first thing I want to talk about is Hogwarts Legacy, the video game where you can join the Wizarding World. And if you're like me, you've been a fan of the Wizarding World pretty much the majority of your life. The first film came out, 2001, over 20 years ago. I've been a fan of the Wizarding World since, saw the movies, read the books, the freaking lands in the Universal Park is where I love to be. Mandatory, I get a butterbeer every year when I'm at the Wizarding World, man. Very happy Hufflepuff, all that stuff. Like, I just love the Wizarding World. It's a huge part of my life. So when this game was announced that it was coming, I've been anticipating this ever since. It just I was so excited. It's the main reason I got a PlayStation 5, to be honest with you, because I wanted the best of the best when I was playing this game, because I wanted to experience the just absolute amazingness that I knew I was going to get into with this game. And then it finally got here, and you get to create your own character and all that stuff, which is perfect. And you get to live in the Wizarding World, and be able to walk through freaking Hogwarts and walk through all this stuff, and it's just so cool and amazing. It's breathtaking to me because, again, I love the Wizarding World. It's such a huge part of my life, and it's something I think about all the time. And to now be able to experience it in this way is just such a breathtaking thing. I haven't had as much time as I would have hoped to have played the game so far since it's been released. I got the deluxe edition, so I got 3 extra days to play it early and all that. I've gotten some gaming time in, but it just sometimes it's hard to get the time to game. But the times that I have been able to play this game is just living up to surpassing my expectations. Like, just being able, like, I don't even think I've left the castle. Like, I don't think, only time I've been outside of the castle is when I'm walking over to another part of the castle. I haven't been outside too often, and I wouldn't want it any other way. I told myself when I got this game, I'm not going to rush through it. With other games, you want to get through the main mission as quickly as possible. But with this game, I'm not rushing at all. I'm walking through there as slowly as possible. And they've got all these little side missions, everything you can do as well, which is really fun. And, I'm working on those and doing those, but just taking it all in and just walking around in Hogwarts and just doing what I wish I could have done in life. We've all had that with whatever it is we're a fan of, it be it the Wizarding World or DC or Marvel or Star Wars and all that stuff. Like, I'm sure, the people who get to do that Star Wars thing at Disney, I think it's called the Galactic Star Cruiser or whatever. I'm sure they're living the dream, and I would love to do that. I would love for there to be like a Hogwarts place I can go into and just walk through. And I know you can go to the filming locations, and that's on a bucket list for me to go to the actual filming locations to see this stuff. But other than that, and other than the theme parks, this is the closest you're going to get with, the Hogwarts Legacy game, of being able to, walk in Hogwarts Castle and live that life. And it's the closest you're going to get to be able to, using the wand. Of course, you have the wand stuff you can do at the theme parks and all that stuff, but this is different, and the wand is so awesome in the game. Being able to use it works so good. And some of the duels I've experienced so far have been amazingly awesome. And the classes are so cool. The Defense Against Dark Arts, I've done one of those classes so far. I've done a Charms class so far. So cool, so excited, loving every single aspect of this game. Like, it's everything I could have hoped for and more. Like, this is life. And it's so awesome to me to be able to do that, man. So Hogwarts Legacy, with just the moment of time I've spent into it's already one of the greatest experiences I've ever had in my life. And so to some people, again, that's what I said with the show earlier when I was talking about this show's about me just expressing the things I love. And I'm absolutely loving this and experiencing that. And can't wait to jump in there and play some more there. Next thing I wanted to talk about quickly here, not the music person. I don't talk music too much on the show. I've done it before with like a Taylor Swift album, I believe. But, sometimes I'll drop some stuff. Avenged Sevenfold will have an album coming out later this year, so I'll definitely be talking about that on this show. Motley Crue is now on tour, so John Five, my favorite guitar player, is with them. So, I'll drop some stuff here and there every now and then. I don't review music too much. I leave the music stuff to my brother, Tombstone Josh. Check out his show, The Metal Groove. But Paramore released a new album since the last time we talked. Before we do that, Linkin Park dropped a previously unreleased song called Lost. And I don't know about you, if you're a Linkin Park fan or if you're a big fan of Chester Bennington like I was. His death definitely hit me, and I know it hit a lot of people. So it's kind of really hard to listen to Linkin Park these days, especially with the lyrical content of their songs and knowing what happened with Chester. Sadly, it's tough sometimes to listen to their music. But that new song, it definitely hits in the feels. It's fits like a Linkin Park song. It's from the Meteora era. So check it out. It's a good song, but yeah, tough sometimes to listen to some Linkin Park. But over to Paramore, they released a new album a couple years after the last album, After Laughter. Wow, said that 3 times fast. And I like it. I really enjoyed it from the beginning, like starting it right away. I know they released some singles before the album came out. I never listened to them. I don't know for what reason. Didn't do it on purpose. Just never really got around to listening to them. But I like that fact because I got to go into this album fresh and just I've enjoyed it from start to finish. And it's kind of a rare thing with albums because you gotta get used to the songs and catch up to the lyrics and all that stuff. So sometimes playing an album for the first time, you hear the songs first time, you gotta get connected with it a little bit. You gotta play it a couple times to get connected. But honestly, on that first playthrough, I was like, yeah, I was into it. I was vibing with it, because Paramore's kind of changed their style. They're not really the punky rock band that they were in the early years. They're more of the kind of the synth poppy, some rock stuff in there now, kind of 80s vibe to them. But and it took a little bit to get used to their last album. Still liked it, but this new album I'm really enjoying. Right away, my favorite song on it is "You First." It's my favorite song so far on the album. Probably gonna stay my favorite song on the album, but overall, solid album, man. So if you're looking for something to listen to, check out Paramore's album. This Is Why, out now. Now, next thing I want to talk about. Of course, you knew I was going to talk about this. This will lead me into DC news. And I did a trailer reaction to the Flash trailers up on the Thrill Me Podcast Network's YouTube right now. It was a kind of an instant reaction, so it's obviously not the best. The camera's not the best. Kind of in a dark room watching it. It's kind of cool though. Can you see the effects of the TV going off behind me and all that? But again, I'm not a perfectionist. And if you've been with me since the beginning of the show until now, I'm not a perfectionist. Zach gave me the awesome nickname of Common Man Podcaster a while ago. It fits. That's me. I'm not going to talk to you about anything like super behind the scenes or try to sound cool with my knowledge or anything like that. I'm just talking to you, man. Talking about stuff I enjoy. So the least thing I'm ever worried about is being perfect. Don't care. Don't want to be it. Just do the thing. So you can check out that instant trailer reaction now on the Third Week Podcast Network's YouTube. But I was definitely going to talk about it on the show as well. That trailer is absolutely incredible. Like, we've heard all this talk, and I've talked about it on the show leading up, that people are, the movie's testing throughout the roof. The trailer is now the biggest, most watched trailer of the Super Bowl of all time or something like that I saw today. I know it's the most watched thing of commercial wise of the Super Bowl or whatever. But, we've heard the movie is testing great. James Gunn has said it's one of the greatest movies, if not the greatest comic book movies he's ever seen. So it's doing amazing by all means with press and everything. And I was highly anticipating it. One, DC. Two, The Flash is my favorite superhero. Love The Flash to death. Um, don't care what people think about this. I love Ezra Miller. Ezra Miller is one of my favorite actors. I understand that Ezra's done bad things while under the influence of drugs or in alcohol and all that. And I don't support things of that nature. Um, but Ezra has gone through court. Are on probation. They're in rehab and they're seeking treatment for mental health, which is all that really matters there. As far as I'm sorry for the words that can maybe trigger here, but as far as the grooming, the kidnapping, the whatever nonsense that some people made up, that's just that. It's nonsense. It's made up. If any of that stuff was true whatsoever, Ezra would not be a free person. Ezra would be in jail if they kidnapped somebody or if they were grooming somebody and all that stuff. There would be something there. There'd be something going on there. There's absolutely nothing going on there because it ended up being nothing. The other thing that ended up being something, the breaking and entering into somebody's house while under the influence, that ended up being something. They have paid their fine. They're on probation. They've done what they need to do to make up for that. And again, I don't support what they did, but the good thing is they're doing what they need to do to get better. That's what people need to pay attention to, and they need to stop attacking, because mental health is not something to be used as a weapon. It's not a reason to attack anybody, and it needs understanding. And that's the problem in the world, is people don't understand mental health, and that's why so many people are scared to talk about their feelings and what's going on in their head and what they're worried about and all that stuff. So yes, I love Ezra Miller, and I will continue to love Ezra Miller unless I have an actual reason not to support Ezra. I mean, Robert Downey Jr. did a lot of bad stuff back in the day with alcohol and drugs and stuff and all that, and people love him to death now. So, it's insane to me. It's insane to me how some people pick and choose what they want to support and all that. But I so happy Ezra is still in the film, and I'm glad Ezra wasn't cut out the trailer, because Ezra, whether you like them or not, is a very good actor. Ezra is a really good actor. I know people are connected to Grant with the Flash and all that stuff. Whatever, I get it. We all have our characters. For me, my Batman will always be Michael Keaton. I'll talk about that in a moment. But Ezra is a really good actor, and I'm not the only person who says that. There's a lot of people in the world who agree with that. I was watching a show today. I was watching Black Man Beyond today, and the lead singer of Living Color, the band, rock band, was on there, and he talked about the best part, and I agree with him. The best part of the Fantastic Beasts films were Ezra's performance, because Ezra's anger and his passion and everything that you could see in that character and what they were portraying in the role is what sells so much of the Fantastic Beasts. And it's the same thing with what we're going into with the Flash. The story is very focused on Ezra, one, trying to save his mom from being, because in the timeline his mom's killed. He's trying to save his mom. He's trying to cope. He's trying to deal, all that stuff. So Barry and all that stuff is very important. Crazy to think about, of the Flash story, and Ezra's performance is going to drive a lot of that, and you can already see it in the trailer. Ezra is driving the heart, the passion, and the comedy in the trailer. So yeah, I love Ezra Miller. Don't care. Let's see, but other than that, man, the trailer introduced stuff to what we're gonna do. They're definitely, Flashpoint was inspired. They're not fully following Flashpoint, but Flashpoint is inspired here. Superman's been replaced with Supergirl, which, oh my God, Sasha Calle as Supergirl is freaking amazing. So awesome. Everything I saw of her in that trailer is great. Again, Melissa did a fantastic job as Supergirl on the show. And I can't wait to see what Sasha brings to this role. One of my favorite things I ever saw was Andy Muschietti, who is the director of the film, shared a video a while back when he did a Zoom call in the early stages of the filming for the film. And it was a Zoom call with Sasha, and he showed her the suit and told her she was going to be Supergirl. And her reaction just makes me tear up every time. And now people have taken that video and they're adding in the clips of her as Supergirl in there. And it's just, so heartwarming, and absolutely love it. She is going to be incredible from everything I've seen in that trailer. I can't wait to see the full performance. All right, and one more thing before we get to the Batman, Zod is in the trailer. We see Zod. We've heard the rumors about that, and of course, again, since the Flash is going to be messing with the timelines, that's how these characters can come in here. And Zod is one of those characters that'll be back, and looks like a battle is going to be happening there with Zod. Now let's get to the Batman of the trailer. There's two, the Batmen of the trailer. First one we see is Ben Affleck back as Bruce Wayne. That was the rumor for a while that he would only be Bruce Wayne in the trailer or in the Flash film. That is, of course, wrong because the internet is wrong about a lot of stuff. And we will be seeing Batfleck in there as well. We saw some scenes of him in the trailer, which, by the way, I don't know if anybody else has got this. Maybe you have. And I don't know if it's the lighting of the trailer or what, but it looks very much. He does have a new suit, but it looks very much like he's wearing the blue and gray Batman outfit, which if he is, freaking awesome. I don't want to get too many people hyped up or anything, but that's what it looks like when I watch that trailer. And I've seen that trailer many, many times. Let's be honest, I've watched it many times. I will keep watching the trailer until the movie comes close, and I plan on seeing this movie so many times in theaters. I may see it every single week. Don't test me. I may see it multiple times every week because that's how passionate I am about this freaking movie. But I think he's wearing the blue and gray suit, and that's so freaking cool because that's classic Batman. We haven't really seen the blue and gray suit at all, right? Like, I mean, Adam West, but since '89 with Keaton's Batman, it's always been like the black suit, right? So, blue, and if it's Affleck that's wearing it, so that's cool. We've seen him on the Bat Cycle. We see, we've seen the Flying Fox in there as well. So we're going to see some good action scenes there with Ben Affleck's Batman. But the main Batman, Michael Keaton's Batman, the main Batman for me. We saw the teaser a while ago at DC Fandom of just the Bat Cave, and then we heard the voice, and we just saw the back of the cowl and all that stuff. And then finally, we get to see Michael Keaton as Batman in this trailer, and it is freaking so awesome. As soon as he shows up and walks up there, he's got that patented smirk that he has, and you can hear Barry in the background saying, "You're," and he's like, "Yeah," and then for a moment, he's like, "You are," and he's like, "I'm Batman." And the way that he could say it, and you're like, "Yes, you're damn right you are. You are Batman, man." And then all of a sudden he jumps down and grabs one of the freaking bad guys, swoops up in the air, freaking choke slams him to hell all the way down. So freaking cool. So freaking awesome. Like, and then he's throughout the trailer. Like, that Batman is throughout the trailer. There's rumors and all that stuff that, Keaton's Batman was cut from the movie, or that Keaton was only going to show up at one point in the film and that'll be it. Internet lied again, because in this trailer you can tell that Michael Keaton's Batman is going to be in a lot of different parts throughout that movie, and it's going to be very important to the movie, and I can't freaking wait to see how this all goes down. It looks like Michael Keaton's Batman is going to be the one that helps Ezra's Flash fix things here, so can't freaking wait. And Ben Affleck looks like he's helping as well. So you can see how the two Batmans work out that way. But I can't wait to see this movie. Highly anticipated. It's my number one most anticipated film of the year, and it's going to stay that way. And then once I see the movie, guarantee it's probably my number one film of the year as well. Like, I cannot stress enough how excited I am for this movie. It's got all the bits and pieces I want it to have from what I've seen so far, and I can't freaking wait to see it, man. So there you go. Let's go ahead and jump into the DC news. Mandatory every single episode of the Review at Rob show. First thing first, James Gunn talks, I reply with what he replies. So obviously people are still messing with him on the internet about everything going on with his new DCU. And one of the questions brought up, not even a question, it was just somebody being an asshat, because I swear, man, if it's not the Joker, it's not Steppenwolf, it's not Darkseid, it's not Doomsday, it's not Harley Quinn, it's not even the Marvel fanboys, as annoying as they are. The biggest enemy or villain of the DC universe is the freaking Snyderverse fans, because oh my god, can they not shut the hell up? Like, they are constantly replying on something James Gunn posts, like, "You ruined the DC. You ruined DC. Get rid of him. Fire James Gunn. James Gunn sucks. Justice for Henry Cavill. Restore the Snyderverse. Sell the Snyderverse. Blah, 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 blah." Like, freaking shut up, dudes. Get over it. Like, it's over. Get over it. Zack Snyder's moved on from it, and DC has moved on from it. It's not coming back, unless something miraculous happens. It's not coming back, Like, get over it, dude. I know you love the Snyderverse. Guess what? I enjoyed a lot of the Snyderverse as well. Freaking Zack Snyder's Justice League is a masterpiece. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. And a lot of that, Ezra Miller, fantastic performance. But it's ridiculous, and I feel so bad that James Gunn has to deal with these morons. But that is the internet, I guess. So somebody on a post that James Gunn put the hashtag sell the Snyderverse to Netflix. To which James Gunn, which made me love him even more with this reply that he put. Uh, love it so much. He replied, "I have to say this has got to be the wackest hashtag ever." End quote. Which yes, it is one of the wackest, if not the wackest hashtags ever. Because again, get over it, people. Then he goes on to respond to the sale by saying, one, Netflix hasn't expressed any interest, although we've discussed other stuff with him. So there's some discussion going on between James Gunn, DC Studios, and Netflix for something. And then two, Zach hasn't expressed any interest and seems to be happy doing what he's doing. And yes, we have talked. End quote. Next quote, he contacted me to express his support about my choices. He's a great guy. Again, he seems to be really happy with the massive world building he's doing right now. So yeah, stop it. Cut it out. Like I commented when I saw this, I commented on it, got some good traction when I commented on this from people who agree with me here that as soon as I saw that happen, I commented, if only the Snyderverse fans had the same morals as the God they look up to. Because Zack Snyder doesn't care. He's moved on. Zack Snyder doesn't care. If they end up doing something later, I'm sure he'll be into it, but he doesn't care. Affleck seems to not care. I don't think anyone involved with the Snyderverse itself cares anymore about doing it. Like, let it go. Follow your God. Listen to your God. He's fine. He's happy. He's doing a new world. Go support that. Go support the Army of the Dead stuff he's doing. Go support the Rebel Moon thing he's working on. It looks good. Like, it all looks good. So go support that. Put your time and focus into that, Snyderverse people. Follow your God there. Leave this nonsense that you're doing online with constantly attacking James Gunn over just trying to make a thing. Cut it out. It's ridiculous. It's beyond stupid at this point. My take. Let's see. So we go to DCU's Batman, and again, people on the internet seem to think they know something. Gunn was asked on Twitter if it was true that George Clooney has been cast as Batman for the DCU, the DCU's Batman, to which James Gunn replied, absolutely not, which, I got in a thing with Zach earlier about this going back and forth. I don't want this to happen, is what it is. And again, I'm very annoyed about the Snyderverse stuff. I'm very annoyed how Ezra Miller keeps getting attacked, so I'm on edge about anything right now. But I don't have a problem with George Clooney. I know the Batman will be different from the Batman and Robin debacle we had before. I know all that. That's not my problem here. Like, if they want to do a cool little fun cameo in the Flash movie with George Clooney's Batman, by all means do it. That's fun. Let's have some fun. Have at it. But for George Clooney to be the DCU's Batman just doesn't seem right to me. Like, in my head, it doesn't compute to where that would be any kind of a good idea. Again, nothing to do with Clooney as an actor. He's a fantastic actor. He's a much better actor now than he was when he did that Batman movie back in the day, and it has nothing to do with that. It's just, why would George Clooney be your Batman? I mean, if that's the case, why wouldn't you just keep Keaton? Why would you go to Clooney? Like, it doesn't compute. It doesn't add up to me. And we're all gonna have our different opinions and thoughts on that. Some people will support it. Cool, that's fine. I'm somebody who, one, does not believe every single rumor that's on the internet. If I did, then I'd be very excited because Andrew Garfield has another Spider-Man movie on the way, But I don't like this idea. I'm not a fan of this idea. If it happens, I'll support it, but I don't want it to happen, if that makes sense. Like, I don't like that idea because to me, if you're going to do that again, why wouldn't you keep Keaton? Why wouldn't you, again, if we're going to listen to the internet, Pattinson's the Batman for the DCU. So I don't know. I don't like it. I personally don't like it. Again, no problem with George Clooney. Good, really good actor. No problem there. Just, I don't like that idea. Like, I really don't like that idea. And that's, maybe that's me. I don't know. If maybe other people will enjoy it, let me know if you enjoy it. Like I said, Zach and I kind of got into it earlier over this, but we're both adults and we got through it. But I I don't care for that idea, and I'm glad James Gunn has said no. The next thing that led to another question I ended up being asked about this: does this mean we're still getting an actor who has already played Batman, or we're getting a new actor altogether? Which James Gunn replied, "New actor," which is what I believe. I believe we're getting a new actor as Batman for the Batman Brave and the Bold story they're doing. I don't think we're getting any other old Batman showing up here. I think they're doing a new actor for Batman, just like they're doing a new actor for Superman. Wonder Woman's still a question. We don't know that. Ezra, they said they are open to working with Ezra, but Ezra's got to go through mental health and see where things go there, because that's 100 times more important. Um, we don't know Sasha Calle's still playing Supergirl. We don't know anything. We don't know anything about casting, like James Gunn has said. The casting doesn't happen until the story is written, and guarantee you they haven't done the Batman Brave and the Bold story writing yet, so the casting hasn't happened there yet, just like the casting hasn't happened for the Superman movie, which is supposed to be the lead-off for the DCU. So if they haven't done the casting for that yet, they sure as hell haven't done the casting for the Batman movie yet. So you gotta wait and see what happens there. Either way, it's DC. I'm gonna support it, but I'm gonna have my reservations if it's George Clooney. Just throwing it out there. Again, don't hate George Clooney. Don't like the idea though. And I just mentioned a moment ago with Sasha Calle's last bit of DC talk here. James Gunn was asked in a press conference whether Sasha Calle would be uh, playing the character of Supergirl in the rebooted franchise, well, the rebooted universe, I guess, saying, quote, "We're figuring it all out. We don't know yet. We're pretty far away from Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow," which kind of goes back to what I just said. They're still working everything out. They don't do casting until the script is done writing, what the script is done, and all that stuff. So you have to wait and see. But from what I saw in that trailer, I hope Sasha Calle is Supergirl. Woo, a lot of talking there, man. Hope you enjoyed that. It's voicing my opinions, but again, I'm not afraid to talk about the things I feel passionate about, and I feel passionate about a lot of stuff I just talked about right there. So let's go ahead and move from DC into the horror realm. First thing to talk about here, director Kevin, I suck with names, Kevin Gouchard, I don't know, took to social media to celebrate the wrapping of production on Saw X. Said, "I hope we can use the title Saw X because this chapter really gets back to the roots of what makes Saw so special to me and everyone else who loves the John Kramer saga." I did a show. You can check it out on our Patreon, Nightmare on Review at Street, where I look at horror franchises and give my thoughts on all of the films. And then season 2 of that show was Saw. Called it Saw Games for fun. And God, a lot of those Saw movies are rough, especially the later ones. So, you kind of left with this taste with the Saw films, like, I don't know. Obviously, I'll see it, of course, and, kind of feel the same way about Scream. Like, I'll see it, but you've left me with this taste in my mouth where I'm like, I don't know how I'm feeling going into it. Like, I'll obviously see it, but I don't know what I'm thinking going in. The 10th Saw, it's good to know they're getting back to the roots. The last Saw movie we had was Jigsaw? Spiral. Spiral was the last movie we had, which I don't think was horrible, but it wasn't great either. Definitely better than some of the other Saw movies, but so them getting back to the John Kramer saga is fine. I think I saw something where Amanda's back in it. What's her name? Shawnee Smith is going to have some kind of role in the movie as well, so gotta wait and see what they're doing with it. But a lot of horror movies returning this year, right? We've got Saw, we've got Scream, we've got The Exorcist returning. I think season 3 of Chucky's happening this year. So I mean, yeah, we'll have to see what's happening and see how all these things go. But of course, I'll give you my thoughts on Saw and Scream when they happen. But it's October, just like clockwork. If it's October, there's a Saw movie coming, and they're releasing another one this October, man. So we'll see how that all ends up going. Let's see. Emma Roberts and Larry Fishburne. They have signed on for the science fiction thriller The Astronaut. It's Lawrence Fishburne, but I will forever call him Larry Fishburne after seeing his name that way for Nightmare on Elm Street, Dream Warriors. Because I remember seeing that name, I'm like, Larry Fishburne. Like, really? Can it be? And then he showed up on screen like, freaking Lawrence Fishburne, man. It's Larry Fishburne, so I'm going to call him Larry Fishburne. So the film is called The Astronaut, science fiction thriller. Roberts will be playing an astronaut by the name of Sam Walker, who is found miraculously alive In a punctured capsule floating deep off the coast of the Atlantic Ocean, General William Harris, who will be played by Fishburne, arranges for her to be placed under intense NASA surveillance in a high security house for rehabilitation and medical testing. When disturbing occurrences begin happening around the property, Walker fears something extraterrestrial has followed her back to Earth. That sounds really good. I am an Emma Roberts fan. She is one of my favorite actresses. Lawrence Fishburne, fantastic actor. Talked about him being awesome in Ant-Man and the Wasp. You can check that out on the Throwing Podcast Network's YouTube as well. The boys, the Haunters Podcast boys, Zach and Wonderful and myself got together to talk about the Ant-Man movies leading up to the Ant-Man movies releasing this week. Be sure to follow us there because we'll be doing a spoiler review, and then maybe a spoiler review after, because we're all seeing it this Thursday, I want to say. And we're going to do that. I'll give my instant reaction after I come out of the theater like I tend to do. I did that with Megan. I'm going to try to do that every time I come out of the movies. We'll get my instant reaction and then follow that up on the Throwing Podcast Network's YouTube. Three of us can get back together and talk about it. Why did I start talking about that? Why? How did I get... That's this show. That is this show. I will freaking... That's why I do the Let's Get Twisted thing. I will talk about something and just lose myself. I have no idea why I just started talking about that. Wow. Okay. Last bit of thing here. Not a big Vin Diesel fan. Oh, because Lawrence Fishburne was in Ant-Man. Got it. Okay. I'm not a big Vin Diesel fan, but this is news that I think people would be interested in. He and David Towie, I suck with names, are teaming up yet again for the fourth time for a Riddick film. That is the sci-fi franchise. I haven't seen a single one, so I can't tell you what I think about that. Because again, I haven't seen a single one of those damn movies. But I mean, I've seen a trailer, I think, and they seem interesting. But again, not the biggest Vin Diesel fan in the world, so I haven't really searched those movies out. So let me know if I should check them out. All right, so that's gonna do it for the horror talk. Let's jump into other news and some Disney stuff to kick it off here. Bob Iger, who's back in charge of things over there at Disney, thank goodness, hopefully he can fix the problems they're having, has announced sequels to Toy Story, Frozen, and Zootopia. Okay, so let's get two of these out of the way real quick. Zootopia, haven't seen that movie. It getting a sequel, not surprised. A lot of people kind of talked about that movie. Haven't seen it, don't know what to expect with the sequel. Frozen, saw the first movie, it's alright. Haven't seen the second movie, have no interest in the third movie. But of course, Frozen 2 made like over $1 billion, so of course they're going to make another one of those. Toy Story is the topic here for me. Because there's a lot of nostalgia with me in Toy Story. I was growing up, like very young. I was very little when that movie came out, the first movie, and so it's just like ingrained in me. Like that's just something I remember. Like, so anytime something Toy Story related happens, I'm like, oh, fit a little fuzzies in my heart about it. And then, of course, they did 2, 3 is where they should have stopped. Perfect ending. Still makes me tear up anytime I see that movie. Perfect ending. Then they went ahead and did Toy Story 4, which I don't remember a dang thing about. I think maybe Bo Peep was important in that one. And there's that stupid-ass, annoying-ass spork. Other than that, I don't know. But Toy Story 3 and Toy Story 4 both made over $1 billion, and this is Disney, so obviously they want that money. So, of course they're making another Toy Story movie. They probably want a better taste in their mouth left after Lightyear didn't do too well. Which, by the way, I was in Target recently, and I was walking through the toy section, as you do, and I saw a Buzz Lightyear. I was like, cool, Buzz Lightyear. I'm going to go push the button because to hear it talk and all that stuff. And I heard it talk, and the voice that came back to me was not Tim Allen, it was Chris Evans. And that's when I realized, oh, that's the Lightyear Buzz Lightyear. Like, it never cropped in my mind whatsoever when I saw Buzz Lightyear that it wasn't Tim Allen. And I think that's what's a problem a lot of people have with that Lightyear movie. And I know it's not just the astronaut. It's Lightyear is the astronaut that the toy's based off of. I know all that. But a lot of people, and I feel the same way, if it's not Tim Allen, I'm not interested. It's kind of like I am with like a rock band, Skid Row. If Sebastian Bach's not singing for that band, I'm not interested. So it's kind of that same aspect there. So when I did that, I'm like, I don't like that. So I think I'm happy to see Tim Allen will be back. It's already announced that Tim Allen will be back. Him and Tom Hanks teaming up again. That's cool, and I'm gonna see it. Like I'll absolutely see that because again, it's a part of the nostalgia pull with me. I will see it. But does it need to happen? No. But obviously we know why it's happening. It's a money pool, and it's Disney. Disney likes money. A lot of people like money. There's nothing wrong with that. So of course it's gonna happen. Whether it's good or not, who knows? Again, I don't remember much about Toy Story 4, and I know I saw it. And Michael Keaton's in there, right? Voices Evil Knievel or something like that. I remember little bits of stuff. Or Ken, the Ken doll. Both? No, Keanu Reeves is. I don't know. I don't know, and I don't care. All right, gonna go over some stuff that broke today with Kevin Feige. He's the guy in charge of the MCU. He did some talking with Entertainment Weekly. I'm gonna try to skim over this. Let's see. So one of the first questions was asking. Let's start with Ant-Man. Why was Quantumania the right film to kick off Phase 5? And introducing Kang the Conqueror. Kevin Feige said he wanted to kick off Phase 5 with a team of heroes that we already knew. So of course we already know the Ant-Man film. He wanted to spend the majority of the time in the quantum realm, which makes sense because Part 2 is mostly setting up the quantum realm. Um, let's see, let's see, this is the place we want to, making the early films, we saw the visuals of Quantum Realm, see that back there, that's a city, blah, 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 blah. Okay, what does this have to do with Kang the Conqueror? For years, we've always wanted to have the inkling that Kang would be an amazing follow-up to Thanos. He's got that equal stature in the comics, but he's a completely different villain. Mainly, that's because he's multiple villains. He's so unique from Thanos. So, something to look forward to see the difference from Kang and all that. Said we really go in all the ideas in this casting. It's been a big relief when the season ender of Loki season 1 happened. People really seem to be on board with Kang. People chanting Kang when Jonathan goes on talk shows, all that good stuff. So there you go. And Jonathan Majors seems like a fantastic actor. And he's going to have a pretty good year between that and Creed 3. So there you go. Let's see. Another thing he said here is not every film in the Infinity Saga focused on the Infinity Stones or Thanos, and it'll be the same across Phase 5 and 6 with Kang, but we're gearing up. People will get a taste of this in a big way in Quantum Mania, and we lead to Avengers Secret Wars, which I'm extremely excited about. That's what he said. I'm casually excited about. Let's see. Phase 4 was a traditional era. Several of the original cast members left. After Endgame, you introduced a whole new group of heroes. You started to embrace television, launching multiple shows on Disney Plus. What are some of the learnings or takeaways from those projects? And he kind of talked about the importance of how all that worked out and hopes people will go back and watch the shows after seeing movies like Marvel's, going back and watch the Camilla Khan show. But he did say people will see that as we get further into Phase 5 and 6, the pace at which we're putting out the Disney Plus shows will change so that it can each get a chance to shine. Asked about that, he says, with the pace changes, do you mean spacing them out or putting out fewer shows a year? Which he said both of those will happen. Next question, curious about big introductions in Phase 4 was Mutants with Namor and Kamala Khan. And what can you tell us about how mutants and the X-Men may or may not play into the future? And, he doesn't really give us an answer about when to expect the X-Men and all that stuff. But, he was asked again, thinking about the mutants again, especially because you started your superhero career producing X-Men movies. It's like, it's amazing thinking about this. We've got Hugh Jackman coming back for our first Deadpool film within the MCU. That's our first R-rated film. To have Hugh come back is incredible. For me personally, that's where I started. I remember sitting behind the camera at his audition for the film. Yada, 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 yada. It's unbelievable. It's come to 23 years full circle having him come back for the new Deadpool film. So, not much to really talk about the mutants there. He's still teasing us with the mutants. Ooh, James Gunn talk. I like talking about James Gunn. So the question was, you also got Guardians coming up, and James Gunn just took the DC Studios job. He tweeted, "You spoke. What was that conversation like?" Kevin Feige said it's not dissimilar to when we talked about him doing the Suicide Squad. I said that's awesome. Can't wait to see it. I've never been shy about loving those characters. I had Superman posters all over my walls at my childhood bedroom. Went to work for the Donners, Richard Donner, Lauren Donner, because of Superman. The notion of those characters being in such good hands with James is exciting, and it's very cool after he finishes Guardians of the Galaxy 3, of course. So again, supporting each other. I don't know why fan bases can't do that, but whatever. And you can read all of this on Entertainment Weekly. It's an Entertainment Weekly story that I'm reading off of here. some Captain America talk and Harrison Ford talk. He says Harrison Ford, of course, being Thunderbolt Ross, he's the president of the United States in the film. And with Harrison, you think about Air Force One, and you think about some of his confrontations with the president in Clear and Present Danger. There's a dynamic between President Ross and Sam Wilson. They have a history together, but in this film, we'll be seeing the dynamic between Captain America and the President of the United States in a way that's just incredible. This has been a dream for years, ever since Jon Favreau cast Harrison Ford in Cowboys and Aliens. I've always been very jealous of that, so I've been finally have him in the MCU is just incredible. Asked about how Blade's going, he says it's going well. The director is currently in Atlanta right now. Cameras roll in the next 10 weeks or so, so looks like Blade might be finally getting something going there. Any updates on the next time we'll be seeing Peter Parker? Foggy said, all I will say is that we have a story, we have big ideas for that, and our writers are just putting pen to paper now. And I'll leave it there. There's some other stuff there that you can check out again. That's Entertainment Weekly's story. So you can go ahead and check that out over there if you want to read the whole article and get all the questions and answers there. Speaking of Spider-Man World Talk here, Spider-Man Noir is getting a live-action series over at Amazon? Really? Fuck. All right. This is the second project from Sony's Spider-Man Marvel character thing over at Amazon and MGM with the previously announced Silk Spider Society. No idea if Nicolas Cage is going to be the live-action Spider-Man Noir. He did play the voice for the Spider-Verse film. We'll have to wait and see how that turns out. And a sequel to Plane has already been announced, and it is titled Ship. Ship will pick up where the storyline left off from Plane. Wow, okay. More power to him. I didn't see that movie. I have a friend who saw it and said it was alright. I mean, I guess they couldn't add it in Has Fallen at the end. If you get it, you get it. But there you go, man. That's all the news for this episode. Alright, so if that was the end of the news, that should end up the episode here, man. I mean, the last thing to kind of talk about here, Steven Spielberg said he rejected directing one of the Harry Potter films. He was asked to direct Harry Potter. He turned it down to spend time with his family, which is admirable. I mean, to think about my favorite director directing the Wizarding World is awesome, and maybe one day, maybe it happens, who knows, but I understand why he turned that down. But that was another thing that broke today, just trying to clean up some areas here. But yeah, man, that's going to do it for this show. 3 things I reviewed there. A lot of DC news, a lot of James Gunn talk, a lot of horror news, other news, fun stuff, man. And again, 3 years, celebrating 3 years of the Review at Rob show. We're entering into the 3rd year, and I'm so excited about this show and love doing this show. And I appreciate anybody who's taken any amount of time to listen to me ramble on with the show. I appreciate you. I thank you. Please continue to support the show and share with whoever you want to share it with. Share. I don't know how. Just share it. But I appreciate you taking the time supporting this show. Please support the Thrill Me Podcast Network as we're going to be celebrating a year soon. So crazy to think about, and just excited, man. Excited for things to come and the venture, and I'm happy that the 3rd year is here and just going to keep going and having fun with the show. So as always, appreciate you taking your time out of your day to listen to the show. Hope you have a wonderful rest of your day, and as always, remember that happiness can be found even in the darkest of times. One remembers to turn on the light. Talk to you all next episode.